Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Continue story time. Thank you so much for coming, for subscribing, for your likes, comments, for your donations. All new subscribers, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. All information about donation you can find down below in comment. Today we continue reading this lovely book called Grimm's Fairy Tales. And our story is The Nix of the Millpond. Millpond, yeah. Once upon a time, there was a very poor miller. Times became so hard that he thought he and his wife may have to sell the mill. He was extremely worried. Early one sunny morning, he went out for a walk, wondering what he was going to do. Suddenly, he saw a strange, long-haired woman rising slowly out of the millpond. It was a spirit, the nix of the millpond. "I have come to help you," the nix said. "I will make you rich. All I ask is that you promise to give me what has just been born in your house." "What on earth can that be?" thought the miller. "A dog or a cat must have given birth in the barn." He promised the spirit what she asked, and the nix sank back down into the water again. Now the miller felt cheered up, and he hurried back to his mill. He rushed through the door and raced up the stairs to his bedroom to tell his wife the good news. But when he reached her bedside, he stood horror-struck. His wife had just given birth to a little boy. The miller realized that the cunning nix must have known this and tricked him. He hung his head and told his wife what had happened. She was desperate. "What good is it being rich if we are going to lose our child?" she wailed. But days went by and the nix did not come to collect the baby. Meanwhile, good luck returned to the miller's house. His business picked up and money began to flow back in. Lovely. Before long, he and his wife were rich, but they were never happy. They were always worrying that the nix might appear and demand that the miller had promised. As the little boy grew, the miller warned his son never to go near the millpond. "Be aware," he said to him. "If you touch the water, a hand will appear and grab you and pull you under." Oh my god. However, year after year passed and there was no sign of the nix. The boy grew into a young man and learned how to be a huntsman. He married a girl from the village and the two lived quite happily in their own little home. One day, the huntsman went chasing a deer. When the animal ran out of the woods and into an open field, he followed it and finally brought it down with a single shot. He loaded it on to his horse. Then he noticed he was near the millpond. and went to the water in order to wash his hands. Scar- Scarcely had he dipped them in when the nix rose up out of the water. Laughing, she wrapped her wet arms around him, then pulled him under so quickly and quietly that there was barely a splash. Oh my god, that's scary. Next, attacking the young man. When evening came and the huntsman did not return home, his wife became frightened. She knew what his father had promised to the nix long ago, and she guessed what had happened. She hurried to the Millpond and saw her husband's hunting bag lying on the bank. Crying, excuse me, and wringing her hands, she called her beloved by name, but there was no sign of him. Then she cursed the nix, but she did not appear either. The surface of the millpond remained as smooth as glass. The Nor girl paced around it, calling and calling till she was exhausted. Then she sank down and fell into a heavy sleep. The girl dreamed that she was climbing upwards between large rocky cliffs. When she reached the top, she found herself in a flowery meadow where there stood a neat cottage. She walked up to it and opened the door. An old woman with white hair sat there, who beckoned to her kindly. At that moment, the girl woke up. She decided at once to follow her dream. With difficulty, she climbed the mountain and found everything was just as she had seen in her sleep. The old woman invited her into the cottage and showed her to a chair. "I can help you," she told her. "Take this golden spinning wheel, then wait till it is full moon and go to the mill pond. Sit on the bank and spin until you are out of flax. When you have finished, place the spinning wheel at the water's edge and see what will happen." Yeah, here we have some lovely drawing of the girl spinning. The girl thanked the old woman kindly, took the golden spinning wheel, and hurried home. She had to wait several nights until full moon, but finally the shining disk rose in the sky. Then she did just as she had been told. She took the spinning wheel to the bank and spun till she had run out of flax. Scarcely had she placed it at the water's edge when a wave rushed up and carried the spinning wheel away with it. Immediately a huge jet of water fountained up from the middle of the millpond. In it was the huntsman. He quickly jumped to the bank, seized his joyful wife by the hand, and they fled. They had only managed to run a little distance when there was a terrible roar behind them. They glanced backwards to see the millpond rise up like a massive tidal wave and come crashing down toward them. The swirling waters separated them and carried them far away. When the waters finally died down, neither of them knew where the other was. For many long years they wandered the land, always searching for each other. And at long last, they found each other. Never give up, I guess. Then they hugged and kissed and swore that nothing would ever part them again. And no one needs to ask if they lived happily ever after. Of course they was. They are. That's it, my dear. See you next time. Bye.